Familiar, you're familiar. So if you don't know by now, then you should probably get familiar.
Hello students, so welcome back to the next video on DC circuit analysis. I think it is part 5, isn't it? So video part number 5. So in this video, so I'm going to discuss the concept on Kirchhoff's laws. I think you heard about already what are the Kirchhoff's laws at least. Okay. Suppose if any circuit, a DC circuit is given to you in which there are some resistors connected in series and some resistors connected in parallel. Okay. So how to calculate the combination of the effective resistance of series or in parallel or in both sometimes. Okay. So that you should be able to find the effective resistance and the voltage drop across the resistance, etc. Okay. So this kind of analysis, okay, is very easy for a given circuit if it is consisting of a single DC source. Okay. Suppose if the network consisting of more than one voltage source or current source, okay, along with that again there are series combination of resistors and parallel combination of resistors, then it is not possible to analyze the circuit. So normally, so we start the analysis of a DC circuit with the help of Ohm's law, correct? So Ohm's law is very useful of course, but Ohm's law is not only enough to analyze the circuit if the circuit consisting of more than one voltage sources along with the resistors in it. Okay, so that the circuit looks like a complicated circuit for you. Okay, so how to analyze such complex circuits? So we need to take the help of the well-known Kirchhoff's laws. Okay, so these Kirchhoff's laws are fundamental laws to discuss or analyze the circuit. Okay, analysis of circuit is in sort of again. So determination of a unknown resistance or a determination of any the voltage drop across a resistor or determination of the current passing through any load, etc. Okay, so this kind of determination or analysis is possible with the help of these Kirchhoff's laws. Okay, so there are two Kirchhoff's laws. I think you heard about that. So first one is called Kirchhoff's current law. Okay, usually we call it as KCL, Kirchhoff's current law. The second one is Kirchhoff's voltage law, KVL. Okay, so before discussing that two laws, Kirchhoff's current law or Kirchhoff's voltage law, so you should have some idea about a given network or a circuit. Okay, so what are the components you will come across in a given circuit? Okay, let us discuss such part of the components in a given circuit first. Okay, so they are called important terms. Okay, where you come across in the circuit. So first of all, let us say what do you mean by circuit elements? What do you mean by circuit elements? Okay, so normally we take the resistor as a circuit element, right? A capacitor as a circuit element, right? A inductor as a circuit element, etc. So then how do you define such element in any electrical circuit? Okay, so we can define like this: a component with two terminals. Okay, there should be two terminals for connection. Okay, two terminals by which it can be connected to other electrical components in the circuit, so that it should be able to connect to other components in circuit to complete the circuit part. Okay, so we should have two terminals for any given electrical component. Okay, then so for example, I told as resistor is a component, inductor is a component, capacitor is a component. Okay, generators are also component, even the sources are also a component with two leads, positive and negative terminals, right? So they are all, in general we call it as electrical components. Okay, then so you can just classify the components into two types again. You see, you can have the circuit elements as active elements, okay, or passive elements. Okay, elements or components, we can say both are same here. So what are the elements called active elements then? Circuit elements, okay, which can work independently. Okay, which can work independently and able to supply the energy to the given circuit or to the given network. Okay, so then only we call it as the active element. So for example, battery in any circuit, the main part of the circuit is a battery, or you can call it as source. It may be a voltage source or current source, correct? So batteries are considered as active element, and generators, okay, which generates electrical energy, and transistors, etc. So these are all actually called active elements. Similarly, What do you mean by passive elements, you know? So circuit elements which either absorb the energy, okay? So the energy is supplied by the source, of course, but there are some elements which will absorb the energy in the form of charges, okay? It can store the energies also sometimes, okay? So either absorb or store energy, okay? And their action, and action depends upon the active elements connected in the circuit, okay? Depending upon the active element, how much energy is supplied by the active element, okay? How it is controlled, okay? So depending upon that it works. So they are called passive elements. For example, so resistors, inductors, okay, capacitors, where we can store the energies, okay, in terms of charges. So they are actually called passive elements. Clear? Okay, now look at some more important terms here. So let us start with the node again. So what is node in any circuit? Okay, see, we have a simple circuit like this. So what is the circuit consisting of here? There is a source, okay, and two resistors connected like R1 and R2, and one more component called capacitor, okay? So some manner it is connected in some manner. So what is node in this circuit? Okay, so node, it is an electrical junction. You have to consider a junction in the circuit, okay, at which two or more circuit elements are connected. There may be two or more circuit elements may be connected at that particular junction, okay? So together, a junction of two elements is a simple node. A junction of three or more elements is a principal node. So we have two types again, either it may be simple node or principal node, okay? So first of all, you have to consider a junction, right? See, in this circuit, so this point is called actually a junction, okay? It acts as a node, right? So because there are two elements, three elements are connected at this point, right? R1, R2 and capacitor, all are connected at this point. So this acts as a node in the circuit, okay? Further, a junction of two elements is a simple node. Here this junction is not called a simple node because three components are connected, it is a principal node. Similarly, what about this point? Okay, so here actually there are two components, okay? So of course the circuit element, circuit terminal, and then capacitor terminal and resistor terminal is connected here. So this is also acts as a principal node, okay? So simple node means only two elements are connected, okay? So for example, I will tell you, see here, suppose here one more resistor is there, okay, here. So this point, so what is this point? You call it as, this is called actually a simple node because only two components are connected at this junction, okay, like that. So simple node or principal nodes. We have in general nodes, okay, the junctions in the circuit. Then what is branch in a network? What do you mean by branch? So a part of any network. So it can be a part, just one part of a network connected to two nodes is called a branch. So in between the two nodes we have always a branch, okay? So the branch may contain an element or a group of elements in series between the two nodes. It should be connected in series between the two nodes, okay? Now look at the same circuit again. So which part of the circuit is called branch now? See, between these two terminals, okay? So we have one resistor, right? So we can consider if there is only one resistor, so this acts as a branch of the circuit. Now there is one more resistor, isn't it? So both resistors are connected in series now, okay? So from this point to this point also, okay? So two resistors, two components are connected in series. So this acts as another branch, okay? One branch of circuit here. And then similarly, if you consider these two nodes, between that we have one element connected. So this is one branch, okay? So except this capacitor, so remaining part of the circuit, okay, consisting of only one resistor, that is R2, there is another branch, like that. So we can divide the entire network into number of branches here, okay? So the branch may contain, so you have to observe that here, it may contain an element, okay, one element like this, or a group of elements. So particularly this part, okay, this is a group, not only single element, okay, group of elements connected in series between the nodes. Clear? So how many branches are there here now? 1, 2, okay, so consisting of two elements here, this is another branch, 3. Like that we can divide the network into number of branches. Clear? Then what is loop? See, a single closed path. You have to consider a single closed path for the flow of current. Okay, if there is closed path, then only there is a flow of current, otherwise there is no flow of current, correct? So a single closed path for the flow of current irrespective of the type of element, whether it may containing the active elements or passive elements in the network. Okay, so that is called a closed path or a loop. See, for example, in the circuit, so from the source, positive term of the source, it is continued like this. Okay, the current is passing through the two resistors and then capacitor like this. So this acts as a closed path for the flow of current. It is a loop. Similarly, so current divides at the node. Okay, so here also, so this is another closed path. So this is also another loop. There are two loops here, 1 and 2. Okay, so they are called actually loops. Then what is mesh? Okay, see, a loop, again it is a loop only. Mesh is nothing but a loop which is independent, completely it is independent, which does not contain other loops within. Okay, sometimes there may be number of loops. See, for example, I can consider like this, you can join. Okay, or with one resistor you can join. So within that loop there is one more loop. Okay, it should not be like that. It should be a completely independent loop. So this is one completely independent loop, this is one completely independent loop. So that you can call them as mesh also. Okay, if it is completely independent loop, it is a mesh. So like that we can will come across so many important terms in the discussion of the DC circuit analysis. Okay, now we will come back to the Kirchhoff's laws one by one, Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay, now let us see the first one, that is Kirchhoff's current law. Okay, so this is also called junction rule. Okay, because we are considering this Kirchhoff's current law at any given node or a junction in the circuit, so it is called junction rule. So what is the statement? You know, the algebraic sum of the currents entering and leaving a junction, okay, any junction in the circuit must be equal to 0. Okay, you have to consider the total number of currents entering at a particular junction and leaving the junction. So the total algebraic sum should be equal to 0, right? So in the other way we can define the current law as in any electrical network, the algebraic sum of currents meeting at a point or a junction is 0. So both the statements are called Kirchhoff's current law here. Okay, so in terms of equation like this, sigma I, so summation of the total currents at any node is equal to 0, or we can say the summation of total input currents is equal to sum of output currents also at any junction. So just it is very simple to understand. Okay, so just to consider a junction at point O in any given network, I am considering a junction at which number of resistors are meeting. Okay, so this is a junction or a node where more than 2 resistors are meeting at the point O. So you observe that there are branches of the circuits like R1, R2, R3, R4, R5 are the resistors in the branches. Okay, the current from the source is allowed to pass through all the branches here and meeting at the point O. Okay, so what are the currents which are entering to the node O? You have to observe that. Okay, so you have to look at the directions. Okay, see, the direction of the current I is towards O. Similarly, the direction of current I2, that is also towards the junction O, and the current I3 is also towards the junction O through the resistors R1, R2 and R3. Okay, so once all these three currents meet the point O, so they are leaving that node. Okay, so they will not accumulate. So that is another point to be noted here. Okay, so there is a conservation of charges. You have to follow the conservation of charges at any node in the circuit. Okay, so there is no storage of charges at any node. So whatever the flow of current is nothing but what? The flow of charges. Okay, the flow of charges entering the node has to leave that node again through other branches. Okay, so now the branches R4 and R5 resistors are connected at the same point through which the current is flowing out. Okay, that means you look at the direction I4 and I5. So they are away from the nodes. Okay, I4 and I5 are away from the nodes. So they are leaving the nodes. The currents are leaving that node. Okay. Now how do you justify the Kirchhoff's current law in this network as per this statement? Okay. So here you can consider I1, I2, I3. Okay, I1, I2, I3 entering the junction, whereas I4 and I5 are leaving the junction, correct? So you just consider the sum of all these input currents, okay? So sum of input currents are is equal to sum of output currents. Sum of input currents are I1 plus I2 plus I3, whereas the current I4, I5 are sum of the output currents. They must be equal to each other, okay? So if you take this I4 and I5 left hand side, so you will get the equation like I1 plus I2 plus I3 minus I4 minus I5 is equal to 0 as per this statement. Sum of all the current, because sum of all the currents entering the node, that is sigma I it is, okay? Sigma I is equal to 0, okay? So that is a statement of the Kirchhoff's current law, okay? You have to consider positive signs always for any currents entering the node. For all these currents, you have to consider the symbolic representation in terms of maths, it is plus, okay? So whereas the current they are leaving the node is negative, okay? Mathematical convention, I can say. Clear? Okay, now look at the Kirchhoff's voltage law. The statement of Kirchhoff's voltage law says the algebraic sum of the voltages around any closed path. We have to consider a closed path in a given network, okay? Then you look at the voltage drops across each resistors, okay? The algebraic sum of voltages including the source voltage, okay, around any closed path in a network is always equal to 0, okay? In other way we can define, in a closed circuit, we consider a closed circuit again, the algebraic sum of the products of the current and resistance. According to Ohm's law, the product of the current and resistance is nothing but again the voltage drop itself, okay? So you can consider the sum of all the products of the current and resistance of each part of the circuit, each part of circuit resistance across each resistor, okay, is equal to the resultant EMF in the circuit, that is equal to the total EMF in the circuit. So that is the second statement of Kirchhoff's voltage law. Clear? So we can write it in this form. Summation, can apply the summation symbol. Product of current and resistance is equal to sum of total EMF in the loop. Okay. So by observing this statement, what we can understand here is there is no loss of energy. The conservation of energy takes place in the loop. Okay. So that is why it is called law of conservation of energy. The Kirchhoff's voltage law is also called law of conservation of energy. Clear? So to understand this Kirchhoff voltage law, so let us consider a simple circuit. Okay. See, we have a supply voltage EMF E. Okay. So there are two resistors connected in series like this, R1 and R2. Okay. So we can consider the branches like AB is one branch consisting of the resistor R1 and BC is another branch of circuit consisting of the resistor R2. Okay. Certainly when the loop, okay, it is completed loop, then we can understand that there is a flow of current in any closed path. So what is that current? I. So passing through the resistor, what is the current? I. And what is the current passing through R2? That is also I. So there is no difference in the current. Okay, same current is passing through the resistors R1 and R2 irrespective of their values. Why? Because they are connected in series. Okay. So the voltage drop is different depending upon the value of R1 and R2. Clear? So the voltage drop across R1 is V1, voltage drop across R2 is V2. Okay. Now in this network, okay. So according to Kirchhoff's voltage law, symbolically we can say sigma of V, okay, total summation of V over a closed path. The circle below this sigma indicates closed path, okay. So over a closed path is always equal to 0. That is the KVL symbol. Now how to calculate that sum of V over a closed loop? So consider the total EMF, supply EMF is E, okay, and then that EMF is going to be dropped across the resistor R1 as voltage V1, across R2 it is V2. So consider all those sum. So E minus V1 minus V2, because why you have to consider negative sign here? Okay, because supply voltage is to give the energy to the circuit, whereas the loss of energy is across the resistor R1 as voltage drops. Okay, so you should consider it as loss of energy across the resistor. So it is the negative sign here, minus V1 minus V2. So total EMF against V1 and V2 are EMF generated against to the supply EMF. So and hence it is there is negative sign. So the total is equal to how much? 0 according to Kirchhoff's voltage law. So that you can write E is equal to, you take this V1 V2, on the other side you will get V1 plus V2. Supply voltage E is equal to sum of the loss of voltages across R1 and R2. That's it. So whereas according to Ohm's law, V1 V2 also can be written as, so this product of I1 R1 plus I2 R2. Correct? So that this equation is according to the second statement. Right? See, in a closed circuit, the algebraic sum of the products of current and resistors, okay, is equal to what? Resultant EMF in the circuit. Right? So this is the simple statement to understand Kirchhoff's voltage law. Clear? Okay, now look at this complicated network, how we can apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law so that we can solve the equations to find the voltage drop across each resistor. Okay, so look at the first diagram. So this is one complicated network in which there is only one voltage source, that is E, okay, connected through the resistors R1, okay, R2, R3 and R4. Okay, so this is one particular design. Okay, you can say it is a particular design in which so combination of resistors may be in series or parallel. Okay, now how the voltage law can be applied? See, first you consider the given network and then you identify the resistors as R1. Okay, you name the resistors as R1. Okay, let it be R2, let it be R3 and R4. Okay, so with respect to that naming only we can continue here. Then which is the positive or negative terminal here? So according to the source, this is the positive terminal, this is the negative terminal of the battery. Correct? Okay, now you consider a loop. Okay, so that is your convention. So positive to negative direction. So one closed path is there here. Okay, so this is a closed path, we can show it like this. So for this closed path, how there is a flow of current takes place through which resistors? The current passes through the resistor R1. From this junction again the current divides. Okay, so the current passes through the R2 and then completes at the negative terminal of the battery. Okay, so that is one complete loop. Now apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law for this path 1. How do you apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law to the path 1? See, very simple it is. So you consider the supply voltage, supply EMF is plus E, because the voltage is raised. Okay, it is raised from negative terminal to positive terminal inside the battery it is. Okay, the voltage rises. Okay, EMF rises from the source, so it should be positive. So but that potential, that EMF is going to be dropped across the resistor R1 and R2. So when it is from the positive to negative terminal like this. Okay, positive to negative side, it is voltage drop. Voltage drop can be considered as negative. Okay, so minus V1. Here also there is a voltage drop from positive to negative direction, so minus V2. Okay, so E minus 1 minus V1 minus V2. So the total EMF in this particular path 1 or in the loop 1 is equal to 0. That is according to the statement of KVL law. Okay, so E is equal to V1 plus V2. Right, so supply EMF should be equal to the total EMF drop across the each resistor in the loop. Clear? So this is one equation we get from the loop 1. Now you look at the second path. So in this triangular network, again there is a closed path. From this node to this node there is a branch of resistor R3, and from this node to this node there is another branch of resistor R4, and then here from reverse it is R2. Okay, so positive negative, positive negative. Okay, it is already assigned in this loop as positive negative here. Okay, so then for this closed loop in the convention direction, so apply the KVL law again. So voltage drop across each resistor, that is V2 is considered already here. Okay, so in this direction it is, so negative to positive it is positive. Okay, so if you consider positive to negative, then it is minus sign. So now in this slope you see it goes from negative side to positive side. Okay, V2 is from negative side, so negative side to positive side, so this V2 should be positive here. So whereas you come across the branch positive to negative, so like this it is. Okay, so positive to negative means minus sign, minus V3. Again from here to here it is positive to negative, so V4 also should be negative. Clear? So V2 is positive because it is the voltage rises here, and here it falls, and here also it falls. So that is why. So V2 minus V3 minus V4 is equal to 0. Okay. So simplify this equation. V2 is equal to V3 plus V4 only. Okay. So the second equation you will get. So these are the from path 1, path 2. So one more path we can observe in the network. Which is that path? So you starting from the battery positive terminal, you consider the network like through R1, through R3 and through R4, and then closes at this point. So where the middle resistor R2 can be ignored here. Okay. So that is also another path for the flow of current, correct? So for this outer path, okay, path 3, so how do you apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law? So in that loop we come across the source EMF E, okay, and this is minus V1 as usual, okay, and then positive negative, this is also minus V3, and in this direction. So in this loop again the direction is like this, okay. So that is also minus V4. So sum of all these EMF should be equal to 0 again. Therefore the supply EMF E should be equal to, you take all these in the right hand side, V1 plus V3 plus V4 you will get. Okay. By solving these three equations, so we can find out any voltage drops across any resistor with respect to the given EMF. Clear? Now look at the second example. So another complicated network. Now what is the difference here? The design of the resistor is different, and here only one source is considered. Here I am considering two voltage sources. V1 is here one, and in the second one more voltage source V2. Okay. It is still more complicated compared to this first one because there are two sources here. Okay. Now, so to solve this circuit, so apply the KVL law to each path. Okay. So consider the path A. First I will name the network like this: A, B, C, D, E, F. Clear? So after naming the nodes, you consider the particular loop that is started from point A. Okay. A to B, B to E, E to F, and then F to A. So that this is one completed loop. Okay, close the circuit. So in that A, B, E, F. So what is the product of current and resistance? Because another way of applying the KVL is by taking the product of current and resistance, isn't it? So in this loop you start from the resistor R1. The current through R1 is I1. So product of these two, that is I1 R1. Okay. Then the second resistor, that is R3 it is actually. So naming should be there first of all. See R1, R2, R3 I am taking here, then R4, R5, R6. Okay. So with respect to your naming, you have to apply the KVL here. So this is R1, I1, R1. This is R3, current passing through R3 is I3. Okay, I3 into R3. So they are all in the positive direction. Okay, plus I1, R6. So like this it is going, I1, R6. So these are the voltage drops, or we can say the products of current and resistances in the given loop. So all these should be equal to what? To the supply voltage, that is V1. Okay. In fact, actually V1 minus I1 R1 minus I3 R3 minus I1 R6 as per this explanation. So I am already taking the second type of equation here. Okay, equated. So all the sums are equated to the source present in that particular loop, that is V1 only. Okay, let it be equation number 1. Now similarly you take the second loop. So this loop, so that is from B, started from B, C, D, E and B. Okay. So resistors are R2, R4, R5 and R3. Okay. So current through R2 is I2, current through R4 is again I2 only, because there is no change in the current in the same series, I2 only. Okay. Then from point D to E we have a voltage source V2. Okay. So that the current through R5 cannot be same as I2. So it should be, let it be I4, because I1 is over, I2 is over, I3 is already over. So let it be I4. Okay. Now in this loop apply the KVL law. Okay, in the loop B, C, D, E, B, B, C, D, E, B. So you start from here. Okay, I2, R2, product of I2, R2 plus I2 into R4, correct? I2 into R4, okay, I2 into R4 plus through this another resistor I4 into R5. I4 into R5, correct. And then it completes like this, okay. So the resistor is R3, but this direction is opposite to the direction I3, okay. So when you complete the loop, so all these are in the same direction, whereas when you go in the opposite direction like this, completion of the loop, it is conventionally opposite to the current I3. So it should be negative sign. So I3 into R3, clear. So that is equal to minus V2, okay. So minus V2 because the potential considered here opposite to the voltage drop across each resistors here. So it should be minus V2 here, correct. So the terminals are reversed here. That is why with minus 2 you can write the equation. So this is from the second loop. Now look at the third loop. Where is the third loop? So you have to ignore the resistor R3 and consider from A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, E to F and F to A. Okay. So this outer loop of the circuit must be considered. So that you can simplify the total potential difference or total voltage drops across each resistor. Okay. So by just simplifying the equations 1 and 2, it is possible to get the equation for the outer loop. Okay. So for the loop A, B, C, D, E, F, A. Okay. Outer loop. Adding equations 1 and 2. Just add these two equations. Okay. So you'll get I1 R1 plus I2 R2. Okay. So I2 R2 is there here. Here I2 R2, I1 R1, I2 R2. Okay. Plus I2 R4, I2 R4. Then I3 R3 here minus I3 R3. Okay. So this cancels when you add. So left with I4 R5, then I1 R6. Just add the equations, you will get this equation by cancelling I3 R3 because that is a negative sign. So right hand side we have V1 and here minus V2. So V1 minus, adding these two equations you will get V1 minus V2. That's it. Okay. So this final equation will help you to find the voltage, potential difference across the source and voltage drop across the given resistors in the outer part of the circuit by ignoring the internal resistance. The central common resistor between the two loops. Here also when you consider the outer loop, the middle resistor is ignored here. Okay. So here also R3 is ignored. Okay. So in this way we can just simplify any given complicated networks with the help of Kirchhoff's voltage law. Sometimes we need to apply the Kirchhoff's current law also. Okay. So with the help of KCL and KVL, so we can just simplify the complicated network in which more than one resistors are connected either in series or in parallel in any complex manner. Clear? Okay, I will end the video now. So see you in the next video. So with the new theorems, they are called actually network theorems and very important for you. Okay. So just wait for the next video.